Hey y'all, this is my seasonings for the oxtails. This is what I'll be using: Worcestershire, garlic salt, turmeric, ginger, a pinch of perfect pinch. It's McCormick's steak rub and that applewood rub. Y'all, I love that applewood rub. You got to have that in your season cabinet. Now, this is the vegetables and stuff that I'll be incorporating inside the oxtails. The carrots, I have green pepper, celery, onions, and cilantro. You put what you like in your stuff. I have this fresh turmeric, and you guys, you only need a very little. This stuff is spicy and just a very little. Beef broth, some garlic, minced garlic, and I have sage and thyme back there. And right now my oxtail is stuck in the bowl, but these are the oxtails and they are already seasoned and ready to go. Okay, I lightly floured, and I mean very, very lightly floured the oxtails, just so they can get a nice caramelized color on them all around. See, just like that. I like a nice crisp, not truly crisp, but just a nice golden. So that's what the light flour is. And here we're just making sure we are, not really sauteing, or you can say sauteing the oxtails, but we're browning the oxtails, and you're going to brown them on each side depending on the size of the oxtails. As you can see, I have maybe like 2 or 3 that's big, and then most of the rest are more medium to small. But you're going to turn them on all sides. So this took me maybe about I would say 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so as you see now, they're on the sides. You have to do all sides just to give you that nice brown color. And if you can see in the bottom of the pan, it's making that nice roux with all those seasonings at the bottom. Don't worry, I'm going to use all of that. Continuing browning on each side. As you can see, y'all, these things look good. They smell so good even right now, but they got a long way to go. You can cook oxtails in the crock pot, but this here takes on the stove for like 3-4 hours. In the crock pot, it's like 8 to 10 hours, or maybe 8 hours, I guess. So we're going to take the oxtails and transfer them into the bigger pot. And that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm just transferring all my oxtails, showing you the caramelization of them, and putting them into the big pot. Look at all that goodness at the bottom. Now what I'm doing is that I'm going to saute my vegetables. I like to have mine sauteed. Sometimes I feel like it might speed up the process. But as you see, I have the onions, carrots, the celery, and the bell pepper. And I'm going to just saute this until I like it as soft as I like. Now, if you like your stuff hard, you have to know your taste. I like mine sauteed and really translucent, and the carrot soft. So you do what you like. If you don't want to skip this process and just empty your vegetables inside the pot with the oxtails right now, that's up to you. I just like to season everything, y'all. It just tastes good to me. So as you see, I'm just sauteing the vegetables, getting all the roux from the bottom. Also, Here is the cilantro. You don't have to use cilantro. If you want to use parsley, you can use parsley. I have cilantro, and we use what we got. So there we go, incorporating the cilantro, and that was put in the pan last because it doesn't take long for those to cook. Now I also season my vegetables as well, and I put some, like a tablespoon of garlic in, and I know I added some Worcestershire, however you want to put it, and I added, let's see, as you can see, I have some minced garlic, a tablespoon inside the pot with the oxtails. I added adobe, that I love. It's a staple in my house. I added the salt-free McCormick and the Worcestershire. There it go. I put that inside the vegetables. Now I'm going to take the vegetables and put them in the pot with the oxtails. Yeah. And there we go. Now here you see is the vegetables on top of the oxtails, and I'm just stirring it around. Next thing I'm going to do is put in the beef broth. You don't have to use Progresso, but you can use Swanson. You can make your own beef broth with some beef cubes and water, however you like. But I put in, and this is a 32 ounce, guys. So depending on how much oxtails you're cooking, if you're cooking more than I am, you might need 2 of these. What I'm going to do, as you can see, that's 32 ounce. I'm going to add like 2 cups of water because I want it to cover my oxtails. And as you see, that just really top it off. Now this is that little bit of turmeric, and I didn't even use that whole piece of root that you guys saw. Very little. So it's like zesting it, like you zest a lemon, but just very little because it has a potency of spice. So just very little. And I'm adding another cup and a half or 2, just depending. You have to eyeball your pot and how much liquid you want. Now my oxtail right now has been cooking for about an hour, and right now I'm just going to check it. I think it might have been maybe an hour and a half they've been cooking, and I'm going to check, stir it, and check where my meat is, because that's when you could tell when the pot is done. So I'm going to take my fork and check my meat, and it's not ready. You can see it is pulling away from the bone, but it is not ready. It is not ready. So we're going to let this cook. Of course, it was only an hour and a half. We're going to let this cook for the remainder of another hour and a half. Okay, I need to add my sage. I think I forgot it. So now I'm adding sage and I'm adding thyme. You guys, I love the fresh sage, thyme, rosemary. It's called like a poultry fresh herb. I love it all. But this is what I had. I didn't have the fresh one. And it takes some time for me to get that thyme out. But I love sage and thyme in kind of stew stuff like this. So now we're gonna add, it's been cooking for about a good 2.5 hours now, and I'm adding this machuzi mix. Now you don't have to get this machuzi mix. This is from Africa. You can use cornstarch or flour or that arrow flour, mixing it with some water or some beef broth if you want to continue the flavor. So that's all that is a thickener. Okay, and as you can see now, it is a good 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and I'm checking my pot. Look at that gravy, that roux, whatever you want to call it. You could tell, look at the big ones, they just pulling away from the bone. Now here's the tester. Oh yes, it is ready. So now I'm gonna plate it up. Alright, I plated my oxtail on top of some white rice. As you can see, the meat is falling off the bone and nice and juicy. And look at the vegetables, the carrots and the bell peppers. And on the side, we got some cornbread. Y'all, I thank you for watching. I'm about to chow down. Y'all have a blessed day. Later.